In this lesson, we're going to get started on the hair mesh. Alright, so to get started on this, let's go ahead and hit Alt-X on our character's head here, so that way it's X-ray. And let's go to our Create panel and Plane, and let's just create a plane right here in the view. Make sure that your length and width segments are set to 1 by 1, and then we're going to convert that to editable poly. I'm going to go to my front view, and I'm going to make sure that this is setting right on the outside of the character's head. And then in our left view again, let's go ahead and go to vertex mode and start positioning these vertices in an initial position to get started with the hair mesh. So with the hair mesh, we're creating just a simple cap that is going over the head. So the first part that we're going to be creating is the largest portion of the hair. Things like ponytails and hanging hair like that is usually done in a separate piece. So with this started right here, we'll go ahead and we'll come in and we'll grab our edge mode with our move tool, and we'll hold down shift and we'll drag this out just like we've been doing using polygon modeling or edge loop modeling techniques. So we're going to continue to pull these polygons out, and I'm going to go all the way out to the edge because I'm following along with these lines that are going along in the hair. Okay, now I'm going to take these polygons, I'm going to pull that up to here, and this one up here. And you can see the line that I'm trying to follow along here. Now this is a pretty simple hair mesh, okay, to get started with. And it should give you an idea of how hair meshes are created. Now there are multiple ways to create hair. You can use like hair plugins. You can use a hair mesh like we're creating here. You can use multiple planes and use a texture to create hair. All of those are perfectly possible. Let me go ahead and pull this all the way back to the middle of the character's head here, and then I'm just going to take these edges and pull those until they meet with the edge. And then this is going to give me plenty of an idea of where I need to create more loops for this hair mesh. So let me actually pull that out away a little bit. Let me pull this out in the Y. We don't want it to rest right on the head because it's going to create clipping with our mesh object. So pull that one pretty close. Let me take this one and push that in a little bit and then down so that's inside the ear a little bit more. And then let's go to our Swift Loop tool. Hold down shift right here in the middle of this polygon, and that should come out with no problems. Now I'm going to create one more loop right here in the middle. Click on that, and then we're going to go to our left view, and I'm going to take this vertex, pull it down to this point here, and then also pull it out away from the head. Okay, so we're going to pull these out a little bit more, kind of round out this shape a little bit. Let's take all of these back here, and let's pull those back in the Y. Alright, so we've created this shape. And now what I want to do is I want to take the edges right here along the front, hold down shift, and push those into the head. So if it's interpenetrating, that's perfectly fine. That's kind of the goal. So now, I want to create the rest of this. So I'm going to go ahead and go to edge mode, and double click on this entire loop right here. I'm going to hold down shift and drag that up, and in our left view we're going to pull that all the way up to here. Go to vertex mode and just start to pull those edges and try to match the flow of the hair. Okay, and this is going to be going toward that the ponytail area of the character. Pull that up, and there we go. So now we have this shape started, okay, and now we want to continue to shape this, pushing that closer to the head. So I'm going to push it all the way to where it meets the head there. And we're going to do this on all of those. Okay. And then I'll take this edge right here and I'm going to push that in. But I'm not going to go all the way in with that one, okay? And actually I want to pull that away just a little bit. And then I'll push this one in. And then this entire edge right here, we'll push that in a little bit closer. Okay. So now, if we go to our left view, we need to create some segments in here to create a little bit more roundness. So hit Control-Shift-S if you're using those custom keyboard shortcuts for the Swift Loop tool. And now we'll come in and we'll start to pull these out, round these out a little bit more. Okay. And then we'll take these points right in here and pull that out. I have to take this one and pull it back just a little bit. Same thing with this one. Okay, so we should have a pretty good start on the hair cap. Now I want to start creating the lines that I need in my character's hair. So just kind of showing you how I've done this. I'm going to go ahead and go to edge mode, double click on this edge right here, and we're going to use chamfer. I'm going to take my chamfer amount up on the segments and then pull that down to where it's pretty close here in the middle. And then I'm going to take that edge that I had originally selected, I'm going to push that in the X, and then I'm also going to push it over in the Y. Okay. Now the edges that are on the end, I'm going to pull those back and reposition those. Okay. So we have this vertex right here in the middle. I'm going to pull that back over in the X, make sure that that's straightened up again. So we should have something that looks kind of like this. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for this edge. Let's use chamfer. We'll split that. We'll double click on that loop, push that over in the X, and then forward in the Y. And then we'll just take those points and we'll pull those back over. Now we'll get those lined up again, so don't worry about that at this moment. So we'll pull that back in the Y, and it should kind of create kind of a cut out of that. Now if you see the skull kind of sticking out of this, that's not a big issue. You can just take that set of vertices and you can pull that out a little bit, and that should help you out with that shape. Now if it starts to get to a point to where you have to pull out way too much, you might want to go in and select the skull vertices, and you may want to pull those in a little bit more. So if it just becomes a little bit too much, we can always take care of it that way. I'm also going to go ahead and just scale that up a little bit, just to separate that from the head a little bit more. Okay, so now we have this, and let's go ahead and take a look at a Turbo Smooth, just kind of see what that looks like. We get some nice thickness there. Let's apply our color and our material so we can see that specularity. Okay, so we can kind of see how that's shaping there, looking really nice so far. And now what we're going to do in our next lesson is we're going to finish out the back of this for this portion of the cap, and then we'll start working along the top to connect all of that together. So we'll get started with that next.